And just like that, we're back in the hot seat. How have you been, Liam?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, it's a little cold out there. I don't like the weather. It was just like 80 degrees outside, it felt like, but.
You know it snowed yesterday?
Where?
I walked out of Esh, back to my apartment, and snow hit my head at like 2 p.m. It's March. Why?
I don't know.
It's not dandruff, by the way.
It's not.
Just in case you're wondering, for whatever reason.
It's not dandruff.
It was.
We're just, should I? All right, we good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're good.
You know, but before we start off this morning, why don't we address the elephant in the room?
What's the elephant?
I mean, I see you haven't, you're bulking up, getting a little bit big, But no, the elephant we're talking about is these bad boys. See that? For those of you who don't know, Intercollegiate Broadcasting System. We went to New York over spring break, came back with a little bit of hardware. Good Morning Greyhounds just happened to win best talk program in the country. So yeah, we're big time.
Yeah, so pretty much we're the greatest talk program of history, is what I'm hearing right now.
What's that trophy you have on?
This is the best program promotion for Last Call. If you don't know, it's a sports show that I produce along with Caden Covert and Jake Hilton. Yeah, sports, and my opener won it. So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Getting back to it, it's the middle of March now, and you know what that means. March Madness is finally upon us, and the tournament has already started. So many brackets are already finished, especially with the amount of upsets happening. My bracket is cooked, and I'm sure yours is too on delay. But the biggest surprise was number 12 McNeese beating number 5 Clemson, 69-67. I guess the Clemson team McNeed to find a job after that performance.
You really hit them with the McNeed to fight. All right, so I think one thing we got to work on is clearly, you see, you win a trophy for best promotion. We got to work on the comedy category.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, you'll get there someday. You're clearly not as good as me, but you do say some wild takes, some outworldly takes, and one of those things, kind of related to that, is actually some NASA astronauts who spent over 9 months aboard the ISS, and they just won't receive any overtime pay despite their extended mission. Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore were initially scheduled for an 8-day test flight in June 2024. However, due to technical issues with the spacecraft, the mission was unexpectedly extended, resulting in a total of 286 days in space. Now, I swear Rick better not get any ideas, because if he locks us in the studio for 9 months, he's just going to open the door and be like, hey, so how's post-graduation there?
Hasn't he already technically done that? Like, he just locks us in here and then just says do stuff?
So I don't think we're supposed to say that yet.
Oh, okay.
That might have been a post-graduation thing.
Oh.
But he unfortunately, he does tend to lock us in here.
I don't get paid either, yeah.
Yeah.
It's unpaid labor.
For real.
Okay. USA Soccer, the land that calls football soccer, loses to Panama in the Nations League semifinal 1-0 in California. The state of Kentucky, yes, Kentucky, has a larger population than the country of Panama. The United States has over 340 million people, and they are still bad. Honestly, it's quite embarrassing. With USA hosting the 2026 World Cup, the time for USA to lock in is now. But are we cooked, Andila?
Yeah. I mean, you still refuse to call it football?
Yeah.
When every other country in the whole entire world calls it football. So yeah, I think you guys are cooked.
Yeah, we're cooked. Yeah. How's Botswana looking?
So, Botswana, we're this great country, about the same size as Texas.
Okay.
So we're pretty big. Football is not one of the strong suits, unfortunately.
That's tough.
Yeah, growing up, I had like a ball made of paper bags. Couldn't afford a real one. So why are you laughing? What's the?
No, ball is life.
Ball is life.
Ball is life.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Taking it back to our time in New York, we were able to visit the Rockefeller Center, where they filmed Saturday Night Live.
I know. It's really cool to see all the history and the icons who've been at that very building.
One thing I found weird is that SNL started copying us for some reason.
Oh, in what way?
Well, they started this segment called like Weekend Update or something like that. Hosting pair looks awfully similar to us.
You know what? You're totally right. I mean, are we surprised? After all, we are the best college talk show in the country. So, Colin.
I'm actually Michael.
Oh.
I'm Michael Shea.
You are Michael?
You're Colin.
I'm Colin.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys want to make a guest appearance just shoot us a little email and we'll consider giving you guys a platform.
But until then, Addison Mosley has two very special guests coming up on Good Morning Greyhounds.
There's no shot he has time to make that throw. There's no shot he gets away from that.
He's that guy, dude. He is that guy. When it comes to football, Mr. Football, right?
Not a chance he escapes the pocket like that, gets out, makes a throw on the run, on the dot. No
He's
way.
gonna do the same thing to Michigan. Watch it. 10-0 heading into Ohio State. I'm calling it.
You want to bet?
Let's do it.
I'm Caden Colbert alongside Jay Kelton for college sports, pro sports, everything Indianapolis.
Welcome back to Good Morning Greyhounds. Today we have a very special guest joining us, Dr. Travis Miller, the Dean of the Shaheen College of Arts and Sciences here at Uindy. Dr. Miller has been a dedicated leader in higher education, serving as a professor, department chair, and now a dean. With a background in mathematics, education, and a passion for student success, he plays a key role in shaping the future for our university. We're excited to hear more about his journey, his vision for the college, and what advice he has for students. Please welcome Dr. Travis Miller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. How are you feeling?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Is this your first time on UND TV?
It is my first time
Well, it's
on
an honor
UND
for
TV.
us to have you here.
Thank you.
So can you tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming the dean?
Sure. How far back do you want me to go?
I don't know. How far are you willing?
Well, I was an undergraduate here at UIndy.
Yes, you were. You were.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
So this fall marks 30 years since I first came to UIndy as a student. And I moved on, did my graduate work at Purdue, and had my first teaching job out in Pennsylvania for 4 years. Came back here in 2011 as a faculty member, and then moved in and my plan was just to enjoy teaching for 30 years and retire.
Oh,
But as often happens in life, unexpectedly, life takes unexpected turns, and I eventually became department chair, and then when there were some absences in the dean's office, I was asked to be interim dean in 2017. And I haven't left the dean's office since. I spent several years as associate dean, and then the last year and a half as interim dean again, and now as dean. So it's not something I would have planned for or expected, but it just feels like the right thing for me to be doing at this time. So I had a lot of encouragement along the way from faculty and from other colleagues, and went ahead and accepted the position. So.
I love that. I do have to ask, what does a dean do?
What does a dean do?
What is your job? Like,
well,
what
they come
is your
for
day-to-day?
interviews like this. This is
Okay.
not typical.
Okay.
But I spend a lot of time in meetings and a lot of time on email. That doesn't necessarily sound that exciting, but for the Shaheen College is the largest college on our campus.
Oh, okay.
And so we have 14 departments plus the School of Engineering in our college. So I spend a lot of time coordinating and working with the department chairs and the leadership of the School of Engineering to make sure that the day-to-day is handled well, and as things come up, it's a lot of problem solving, right?
Okay.
If a problem reaches my office, it's often a difficult one to solve. And also work with the upper administration. So I spend a lot of time with the provost and the other deans on campus, and making sure we're carrying out his vision and the president's vision, in addition to what we hope to see in our own college. So it's a lot of problem solving, a lot of also trying to look forward in terms of where we're going and how we can get there.
Okay.
Meet our
So I
needs.
do have to ask, what do you enjoy most about your position as dean?
The people.
The people.
The people at our university are a special group of people.
Special in a good way or a bad
In a
way?
very good way. I think the faculty, staff, administration, the students, they're all collaborative. We're all here for a common goal, which is to educate our students.
Yeah.
And it's just a great environment where we all work together really well we may disagree on how to get there sometimes, but we work together to come up with a path forward.
So I have to ask, like, what makes the Shaheen College of Arts and Sciences stand out from the other colleges within Uindy? Because I think you said there were 14?
We have 14 departments and the School of
departments?
Engineering.
Okay.
So it's the sciences, the arts, social sciences, and humanities. They're all, I can name all the departments, but if you want to quiz me, we could do that.
No pop quizzes
You know, we have to strike a balance, because what we do is we prepare students through our major programs and through our graduate programs, but the other half of what we do is we support the general education core for the university, for all students across the university. So most of the courses that students take at Uindy to fulfill the general education core requirements are offered by our college. And so those are intended to form the foundation for lifelong learning of all our students as they go out into the world and pursue their career paths. And as the world continues to change, you know, the career you may go into now may not be there in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But those foundational skills from our areas, from our disciplines, really are the things you turn to and rely on when you adapt and find your way in the next aspect of your journey.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like that always goes back to support, which kind of leads into my next question. How does the college support students in their academic and their professional growth?
So academic, I mean, obviously the faculty are at the forefront of that, and making
course.
sure that they're, you know, we need to support their scholarly and professional development endeavors as well, so that they remain on top of what's happening in their fields, so that they can then use that and put that into practice in their teaching and in their work with students. Obviously, we also have support services for students. We have the writing lab, we have the math tutoring lab, we have other support services like that on campus. And then we are working toward building out, as part of the President's strategic plan, more experiential education opportunities. We already have a number of those on campus already. We do a lot of work in the area of undergraduate research opportunities. We have opportunities in the arts and in the English department, for example, with the Etchings Press there. But we want to build on that. We want to make more connections across the city so that we can get students involved in more internships and more things like that, where they can get some really experiential opportunities before they leave the university.
So when we talk about experientials, can we talk about them also being 3 credits? No,
You
I'm
want
just
them 3
kidding.
credits?
I need
Or
them 3
you need them 3 credits.
instead of
And
the
why
1
is
credit.
that?
I feel like we do a lot of work, like for the comm department especially,
Sure.
the TV, the sports comm, the public relations that we have. We do a lot of work. Sometimes it can be like underwhelming, and it's like, okay, we're doing this all for 1 credit. And although we do have to retake them, it still is a lot. It's like almost a defeating, because we're putting in a lot more hours into our class that actually are 3 credits, and it's those 1 credit
Right.
classes.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up, because I think there's I think that varies across different disciplines and different programs
Yeah.
in terms of how many credits those opportunities are. And most of the time that's established, well, every time, that's established by the actual department. But
Okay, that makes sense.
But sometimes those decisions, and part of what the dean's responsibility is to look at those in a broader picture, right? Is what's happening over in this department on par with what's happening over here, both in terms of the work involved for the student, but also for the faculty member, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that can be part of the conversation as we move ahead.
Okay. So are there any new initiatives or programs that students should be excited for?
Well, the big thing we're building toward is the experiential ed program opportunities. We're also working on putting through more of an exploring major, Bachelor of Science in Liberal Arts, where students will be able to kind of build their own major in a way, maybe take some courses over in 2 different content areas that mesh together well toward an ultimate career goal.
Oh, that's nice.
We've got some checks in place to make sure that we want it to produce something of meaning for the student when they graduate that'll actually put them on a good path, right? So there will be some checks there, but we are working on putting that through that I think will be something exciting for the students.
I think that should be exciting as well. So what skills do you think students should be focused on developing before they graduate?
Communication skills are huge, right? Writing, speaking, engaging with others. I think that's critical, particularly when you go out for interviews, but also when you're working with others in your future careers, right? You need to be able to communicate your ideas and negotiate with others in terms of meshing together their wishes, their desires, and their perspective with your own, right? And so I think that's huge. It's also important to have context. Context, I'm thinking in terms of world context, things going on in the world, but also going on in a more local setting, so that you know how you and your work is fitting in with the bigger picture of life and the world around you. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you share with the fellow Greyhounds what your goals are for the Shaheen College of Arts and Sciences in the next few years?
Well, one thing we want to focus on and continue to focus on that I think has traditionally been a strength of our college and the university is the relationships we're able to build between faculty and students. I think that relational experience is something unique to us. It's definitely easier to accomplish in a school of our size and smaller, but I think that's important to help really identify where your needs are and where your areas of growth are, and then being able to support you into that. So we're really going to focus on finding the space for faculty to be able to do more of that as we go ahead. I think too, we want to recognize student achievements in additional ways than what we've done so far. One thing we did this semester for the first time is we actually recognized students in our college who made the Dean's List, and we gave them out little pins that indicate Dean's List. So you might see some people walking around with those on their backpacks now. But students seem to appreciate that, and it's a simple thing that we can do to celebrate with them, right? I think a lot of times we focus on celebrating the accomplishment at the end when you get your diploma, right? But there are a lot of things and a lot of accomplishments that we can celebrate along the way, and I want to be able to do that.
I love that. I actually really appreciate that as a student. So I do have a serious question for you. If you could take any class here at Uindy, what class would you take? From anywhere, any department, you can pick any class. What is the class that you are picking to take?
Well, when I was an undergraduate here, I was in the choir and in Scola.
Okay.
And I've gotten away from that for a long time. So it would be good, although my voice is not what it used to be. I would enjoy doing that, but also maybe enjoy doing something in the arts. Dr. Catherine Fries does a lot with printmaking, and that's something that I think would be fun and interesting to take as well.
Fun. I'm going to look into that class.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining, Dr. Miller. We really appreciate your insights and the work that you do to support students here at Uindy. It's been great having you on the show. Next up, we have another amazing guest, Dr. Stephanie Wideman, Associate Professor, Department Chair, and Basic Course Director for the Communication Department. Stay tuned.
In the heart of Indianapolis, our main mission is to keep you informed, bringing you local and national news. With the upcoming presidential election, there is no better time than now to tune in. But the most important part is you. This is Uindy TV News.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Dr. Stephanie Wideman, Department Chair and Basic Course Director for the Communication Department here at Uindy. Dr. Wideman is a passionate educator who helps shape the next generation of communication professionals, teaching students the importance of effective speaking, writing, and media literacy. Today, we're excited to hear her insights on the communication field and her advice for students looking to make an impact. Please welcome Dr. Stephanie Wideman. Hi.
Hi, thanks
How
for
are you?
having me.
Of course, I love talking to you.
Well, it's always nice to
Ugh,
get on
long
here
time no
and
see.
Celebrate you, absolutely.
Thanks, Queen. So, what can you tell me about your journey into the field of communication and what inspired you to become a professor?
Well, when I first started at the University of West Florida, I think I was an advertising major for a minute, and then I quickly learned I didn't have the certain skills you needed for that.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a lot of like design type skills. I didn't have the eye for it. It was very, very strange. So I moved over to public relations, and it wasn't for me until I started competing on this speech and debate team at the University of West Florida that it changed education for me. Before, it was something that I had to do because my mom said I had to go to college. She was like, you can't stay here. You got to go to college or somewhere outside of the home. But when I got on the team, my education got a purpose, right? Like I needed to learn and be in classes so that I could compete better, I could communicate with people better. And then eventually that evolved into communication being a lens through which I understand the world. And that's why I sought out going and getting my doctorate in communication studies. So it's become more than just something I do. It's become a way of being. And I'm really passionate and excited every day when I get to share that lens with students.
Why do you think it's important to go to college instead of just staying at home?
Well, I mean, it's the nature of what college is expanding and evolving with our culture, with our politics. And at this point, I think there's a lot of benefits. I mean, overall, I mean, if you want to talk money, I mean, despite the criticism of higher education at certain points, I mean, overall, you will have much higher earning potential throughout your life if you go to the university in a four-year degree. But even more so, more important than that, you know, degrees are not just about jobs. They're about expanding your mind, about testing yourself. I mean, you get exposure to so many different sorts of people and experiences and challenges. You also get all of these resources. I mean, in certain respect, that's what a university is. It's access to resources, professionals, experts who can teach you. So there are a lot of benefits to a university education.
Do you think, if looking back, would you change what college you went to, or would you stay at your college?
Okay. Oh, I absolutely would have stayed where I was at the University of West Florida. Yeah, it was. Most of my family went there.
Oh,
so
okay. I was gonna say, did you have a time?
And I did have a time there too. But yeah, I absolutely would have. It was a really great education there. And then, you know, professors that I had, like the director of my speech and debate team, I mean, we're still in touch. I mean, we speak every other month basically about it. And he's helped me throughout my career way past when I was in undergrad. And so I try to tell students it's really important to actively seek mentorship. Right?
Yeah.
That's what the faculty want to do. We do this for a passion. So make genuine connections with people, and you know, most likely you'll stay.
I definitely think that's important. Making connections with your professor will get you a lot further. So it's been about 2 years since you became like the department chair. How has the transition from your job from before to now? How's that changed? Like,
oh, it's been a steep learning curve, but a fun one. I mean, before I, you know, was the director for the Uindy speech and debate team for 7 years, and doing that, you know, I had this entity. I ran it as a program, as my own entity where we compete in speech and debate, but also like created ambassadorship, taught ambassadorship there, both internally and externally to the team. And then so now coming out and then having to have my vision on the entire department is just cool, honestly. Like I knew what I was doing on the Uindy speech and debate team was good. What the students they were doing was good. I had no idea all of the cool things that we do in this department. Really? And so now my job really is supporting and celebrating what you all are doing here, what the professors are doing, the high quality, high impact education that we deliver every single day.
How do you think the field of communication has evolved over the years?
Well, I think what we're looking at now, what industry is telling us, is that we have to unsilo. It's not enough to go and say, I'm going to be I'm going to go get a journalism track and a comm degree and say, I know how to write stories. There you go, hire me. Now, I mean, for any comm position, you're going to have to know how to not just set up a shot, but quality writing, also to know how to produce, know how to then speak to the press and speak to other constituencies. So it all crosses over now, and it's really kind of a renaissance idea of, communication is all things for everything.
Thank you, Dr. Wideman, for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge and experience with us. We appreciate the work that you do for UIndy students and the communication department. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. And to all those watching, thank you for joining us this morning, and make sure you watch the rest of our UIndy TV productions on our YouTube channel and Xfinity channel 1096. See you next week.